resolute of heart, make firm thy mind. The tongue of a man is the rudder of the boat, but the Lord of all is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches. There's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside. Every man is destined for his hour.
On feeling goods where all of your cash went. Not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Better yet, can one consciousness unify them? Pondering on these questions is where my time's spent. Creative process, believe me, greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe in, positive mind, gotta reach it. Putting effort to bring forth this new being. You're not consumed by the lust for things, but knows that his worth is determined by words and deeds. Your mind is affected by words and deeds. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see, and what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams, keys open doors. Since you can't always choose circumstances, make sure to choose your thoughts wisely. Choose advancement, work towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility, avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way, it ain't hard to figure out. Why? Why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you, it's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles, you'll find along the road you're the only one responsible for your soul. It's no coincidence. Take control of your life, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. You take control, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Yeah, it's no coincidence. It's no coincidence. Nah, it's no coincidence.
Old shells are highly prized. And this one is occupied by a sarcastic fringe.
Trump's policies would throw us into a recession. The last thing we need.
Some of those jobs of the past are just not going to come back. He just says, well, I'm going to negotiate a better deal. Well, how exactly are you going to negotiate that? What magic wand do you have?
The Dow, well, it's gone up for 8 straight sessions, and it will go up, at least at the opening bell, again today.
Companies are hiring. We know layoffs are down and companies are hiring.
Unemployment for African Americans fell to a new low of 5.9%. Female job seekers, a low as well, 3.4%.
Jobless claims dropping to 3.8%. In fact, we've only seen a number that low since 1969.
Even the New York Times has to admit it. Check out this reporting. We ran out of words to describe how good the jobs numbers are.
They have used the power that they have gotten for all the wrong things. They want to keep themselves in power. They want to cater to the special interests. It is time for us as Democrats to be as tough as they are, to be as dedicated as they are, to be as committed as they are. Michelle always says, Michelle Obama, I love her, you know. She and my wife like really tight, which always scares me and Barack. But Michelle always says that, you know, when they go low, we go high. No. When they go low, we kick them.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
We know where you live, too, bitch. We know where you live. Yeah. We know where you live, Mitch.
That's my call to action here. Please don't just come here today and then go home. Go to the Hill today. Get up and please get up in the face of some Congress people.
If kids don't eat in peace, you don't eat in peace. If kids don't eat in peace, you don't eat in peace.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and/or the Senate, that's when civility can start again.
I need you to go out and talk to your friends and talk to your neighbors. I want you to talk to them whether they're independent or whether they are Republican. I want you to argue with them and get in their face. We talk to these folks because they potentially have the best answers, so I know who's asked to kick.
With Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, when they're talking about bringing a gun to a knife fight, when they're inciting violence against police officers, today we have police officers called out to fake calls so they can be ambushed and potentially assassinated. And we're talking about protesters, paid protesters, going to disrupt a Republican rally. If it wasn't Donald Trump, it would be any of the other candidates on this panel, and they know it.
Well, I mean, the line from the Untouchables about bringing a gun to a knife fight, I think people recognize that was an allusion to
I don't think so. I didn't recognize that.
Okay,
Absolutely
well,
not.
you should check out the film The Untouchables. But Alex,
You are now
I
entering
wanna
another
let you-
dimension. A dimension not only of sight and sound, but of critical thinking. A journey to a wondrous land with boundaries that of clarification. Your next stop, the Sanity Zone. Alright, you're listening to breaking news, absolutely breaking the news, breaking the mainstream media in half with Harry, aka The Brave. I know it was a long montage there before I came in, but I think it's important. You know, I played the montage of President Trump's economy because we got some good news again. We grew in the last quarter, the third quarter, 3.5%. And that is awesome. 4.2, 3.5. It was 3 before that. We're on a pace to grow somewhere right around 3.5% for the year. When Obama said getting to, which he, in his last, I think, quarter, he didn't even get to 2. But 2 is the new normal. And in that clip, the president economy, you heard Obama say, how is Trump going to get jobs back? How is Trump going to grow the economy? What, he has some magic wand or something? It wasn't that he has a magic wand. He just has a better business intellect than Barack Hussein Obama, who was basically a community organizer. All he knows is how to ask and take, you know. Trump actually knows how to grow the economy for America. And look, all the deals he's making, he signed a new deal with Mexico, with Canada, with South Korea. You know, he right now has China and Japan backed up against the wall. They're going to have to make deals. You know, the European Union is talking about making deals. So, look, everything, all the pundits, the political pundits, if you could call them that, because they, you know, they act as if Trump is the enemy, and then they're surprised when he treats them that way. But all the political pundits said Trump was making mistakes. There's no way he could renegotiate NAFTA. There's no way, you know, if you remember North Korea, they were talking about Trump was headed to nuclear war with North Korea. And now that we're negotiating with North Korea so that they could become well, actually, they're already having a relationship with South Korea. They kind of called off the Korean War. Everybody thought that was over. It wasn't. But, you know, so Trump has been doing such great things, and you have the media constantly hitting him on everything, you know. And then, you know, I played the uncivil montage for anybody out there listening. I played the uncivil montage of Eric Holder, kick them. Hillary Clinton, we don't have to be civil with our opponents until we win. So until we get everything we want, we don't have to be civil. we had Maxine Waters get up in their face and let them know that they are no longer welcomed here. Okay? Maxine Waters saying that Americans are no longer welcomed here, right? Then you had Cory Booker get up in their face. Obama, get up in their face. Obama, we want to know who they are so we could kick their ass. Obama, when they bring a knife, you bring a gun. Okay? That's something he said during the 2008 elections. This is rhetoric that has always, been part of the Democrat modus operandi, right? So this is what they do, right? And as soon as you get Republicans reacting to Democrats constantly talking like that, constantly attacking, and the media never holding them to the words they say, never forcing them to take responsibility for what they say, but always jumping on the Republicans. That's a problem. That's a problem. Look, I was just arguing before I came in that I was late because I was arguing with a couple of people who volunteered information to me earlier this week. And not that they know, it's the chatter that we all hear, right? But chatter that is interesting. We all have connections into, the political world. I go on to many forums. Then we have other people who are actually Democrat operatives, activists. And all this week we've been discussing about how the way this pipe bomb stuff looks, about the, all the packages, anyway, the pipe bombs that have been going around, right? So now we're up to 12. We're up to 12 because this morning they found one in Florida addressed to Cory Booker and another one in New York addressed to James Clapper, right? So we have been talking about it all week, and even with some Democrat people, what we've come to, and they're gonna hate me saying this, right? But I don't attach names to any of my conversations. But what it looks like is what it looked like. Sorry, I just remember the line from a movie. Anyway, so what it kind of looks like is like a false flag, right? And the reason I say that is, I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, even though I am. But I know people who have been active in the political scene, even overseas in third world countries, and this situation that we're in now, where all these bombs are going out, and it's kind of, and it's terrorism because what it's doing is trying to change the political message. Now you have to understand, since the Kavanaugh hearings, there's been a momentum. There's been wind at the backs of the Republicans. They've been slowly climbing, in all the races, even the congressional races. Right now, it doesn't look like the Democrats have a chance to win the Senate. Right? And it was slowly becoming that it looked like the Republicans are going to win the Congress. And you have to understand, this is politics is dirty. And I have been talking with people from New York, people here, and I've been hearing we need to change the message. And I've actually heard this on the message boards too, that the Democrats were looking to change the message going out. They changed the politics of the moment, right? Because usually we have these 24-hour news cycles, but the news was stuck on the caravan, right? They were stuck on the caravan. They were no longer talking about Kavanaugh. They were no longer talking about Russia. They were stuck on the caravan. And as long as they were stuck on the caravan, the Democrats felt that the Republicans' momentum would continue. Right? So, anyway. So, if you look through all the message boards, you've been seeing that the Democrats needed to change the momentum, stop the momentum, and hopefully change it back to have it swing back to the Democrat direction. And lo and behold, these bombs show up, right? I don't know if you could call them bombs, because I've heard reports where they weren't even able to explode. That they weren't really active bombs. But so we have this messaging change, and people are going, "Oh, it's the Republicans." Why would the Republicans, the momentum, the air is at our back? Why would the Republicans go out and do that? Why would somebody, a Trump supporter, who's in the midst of a good momentum, we're winning. Kavanaugh. Now it looks like the Senate is ours. It looks like the possibility of us keeping the House by a slim margin, but there's a possibility. Why would a Trump supporter risk changing the news? Right? This all looks like an inside job. I don't want to sound like a conspiracy theorist, but when you look at the packages, there's no postmark. All of these packages have these forever stamps, these American forever stamps. No postmark. And you have to say to yourself, how are these packages getting to these places if there's no postmark? It seems like all of this stuff is a false flag. It seems like this is set up to change or stop the momentum of the Republicans. And I've had, people who have been involved in third world elections and all of that stuff, who have agreed with me. And they even said, I've had people say, this is the kind of stuff the CIA does in third world countries. I'm not saying it. I don't want the CIA coming and looking at me or getting bothered by me. And actually they told me, don't say it. As soon as you say CIA, it gets flagged. And they look at who's talking about the CIA. Right? But this is the type of stuff that our government has been involved in, not just third world countries, in other countries where we are trying to change, make changes at the top, where we're trying to get rid of their president or, change leadership, change directions of a government, change directions of a country. It's the kind of stuff we be involved with. And here's the thing. You have to say to yourself, I'm full into the conspiracy, so I might as well keep going. You have to say to yourself, who has a connection with the CIA that hates Trump? Who was running the CIA that hates Trump? Brennan? One of the people who the bomb was sent to at CNN? Right? John Brennan, former CIA director, who is constantly going after Trump, who said Trump has committed treason and all of this stuff. Right? His messaging, his own words haven't worked, so he moved on to the next thing. It's a possibility. Right? I was joking with one of my friends who didn't find it funny, but if you notice, when George Soros got the first package, George Soros, a big Democrat funder, a guy who's looking to fundamentally change America, almost sounds like Obama, but that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's been trying to do that for years. So when George Soros gets the first package, George Soros' son comes out. And I was saying, the FBI and the FBI has to look at him, right? because usually people who do this type of stuff like to involve themselves into the investigation. So I was saying, wouldn't it be something if they have George Soros' son on camera dropping off these packages? Just a joke, relax. But my friend didn't find that funny either. But anyway, so that's my conspiracy theory. It's not so much a conspiracy theory because we know there's been deep state movement against Trump, right? And more information comes out every day, right? You have George Papadopoulos, who, and remember, when Trump, just a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago, Trump had decided that he was gonna declassify the Pfizer warrant. And then he suddenly changed his mind, and it was reported in all the newspapers, it was reported that it was because foreign governments had asked him not to. So you have to say to yourself, hold up. What do the foreign governments have to do with this Pfizer warrant? And now I saw Papadopoulos this morning being interviewed, and he's saying there were foreign agents who were working for Britain and maybe others who actually were the ones who approached him about Hillary Clinton's emails. You know, so he was set up by our allies. So our allies may have been involved in trying to take down Trump, or trying to stop Trump from being president, or trying to ruin Trump's presidency. So it's interesting stuff, right? But look, all of this, so the deep state has been working hard. James Comey, who a judge recently said the FBI basically gave Hillary a free pass. They chose not to do anything about Hillary, you know, breaking the law with her emails. Right? So James Comey, you have Peter Strzok, who was texting with his lover, you know, with his mistress, because he's married. So Peter Strzok, who was texting with his mistress about how they were gonna get Trump, and how after he let Hillary Clinton go, how he had unfinished business to get Trump. And then you have McCabe, who was fired for lying, whose wife was taking money from Clinton people, took almost $1 million from one of the people in Clinton's orbit, and McCabe was working against Trump to try to get Trump also. Then you have Bruce Orr, whose wife actually worked for the agency who employed the British spy who came up with the fake dossier. So all of this stuff is coming together. And it looks like there was a plot to stop Trump from ever being president. But you listen, you guys have to actually go and do your homework, because you're not going to get this. You're not going to get this from Washington Post or the New York Times. And if they write something about it, they'll put it on page 50 something, so you never find it. You have to actually dig. So Americans today, you see, this person who's trying to put fear in people, terrorize people, is trying to basically influence people, either put fear in your heart so you don't go vote, or he's trying to move you to have sympathy for the Democrats, right? Because, oh, you have CNN blaming Trump for somebody going to bomb, but you saw all the clips I played today in my opening, the uncivil clips. You know, like I said, you had Maxine Waters get in their face and tell them they're no longer welcomed here. You had Hillary Clinton saying they don't have to be civil until they win. So give us everything we want, and then we'll stop being, you know, brats. We'll stop throwing our tantrums. You know, so all of this stuff is just basically Operation Chaos, right? cause chaos and hope that you stop the Republicans' momentum. And hopefully they don't. Hopefully the Republicans actually take the House or keep the Senate and keep the House. Whew. Anyway, let me see if I can find some music and then I'll be back with some headlines. You're listening to breaking news, absolutely breaking the mainstream media in half with Harry, aka The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM, your home for community radio.
We want an immediate end to this police brutality and mob attack that our people are confronted by every single day, every single week, every single month.
This used to be the land of opportunity. People used to strive for peace. We don't even use the word unity until them guns release. Young kids dropping out of school, thinking they know it all, don't even know the rules. Grown men want to kill themselves for a cause. Innocent people losing their lives in the cause. History repeating itself, what are we doing? The revolution will be televised, still brewing. CNN cameras, satellite coverage. We heading for destruction, don't forget your luggage. Marvin Gaye's vision, what's going on? Back in 71, it's being reborn. We need to wake up, people getting shot dead. Homie lost his life for doing what the police said.
I just wanna know if we gonna last. The glass is half full, the bottom's coming fast. I just wanna know where's all the justice? Blame it on the system, no we can't trust it. I just wanna know if we gonna last. The glass is half full, the bottom's coming fast. I just wanna know where's all the justice? Blame it on the system, no we can't trust it. I just wanna know. Too much stress, but Lord knows we trying different drama every day. Too many young people dying, having conversations like, what happened to the youth? You really want to know? We stopped teaching them the truth. Took the power from the parents, took religion.
All right, listen to the breaking news, absolutely breaking the news with Harry, aka The Brave. All right, let me stop this music. I don't got time to play too much music today. All right, so B Jammin', thank you for actually listening to the show and getting involved. He's saying, because I was saying I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. He's saying, but you do sound like a conspiracy theorist. This reminds me of Pizzagate, where pizza places have been getting bomb threats. That is not something I heard from some fake news, but first-hand people I know who work at pizza places in New York. Okay, so first of all, be jamming the pizza place that the guy went in and shot, that was in Washington, D.C. All right. If pizza places in New York are getting bomb threats, that's a different issue. Right. But I'm not dealing with, hypotheticals that anybody's hiding something. I'm dealing with stuff in the news. Peter Strzok, Lisa Page, Andrew McCabe, James Comey. All of those people are in the news. All of the stuff has come out. George Papadopoulos, he took a plea deal for lying, right, to the FBI. But was he lying or was he set up? Was it a perjury trap, right? So, and if it was a perjury trap, was the British government actually helping? Because he was overseas when he was asked these questions about Hillary Clinton's emails. Anyway, so all of that stuff is newsworthy, B Jammin'. So you have to actually, like I said, do your homework. And, you could actually get a lot of this stuff on The Hill. They're pretty good. If you go to thehill.com, you'll see they play to both sides. They hit both sides. And they actually give you news. Go to John Solomon on The Hill, and you'll see a lot of the information. Go to sarahcarter.com. Right? She's a great reporter also. But, these are things that you have to actually do your homework. If you're constantly just watching CNN, look, CNN yesterday spent the whole time saying, we never said that it was Trump's fault. And then in the next breath, they blame Trump. you had Sucker, the head of CNN, actually write yesterday that words matter. But how about CNN's words? Do they matter? CNN is constantly getting the stories wrong. They have to constantly correct themselves. CNN has to become a news organization again and take the opinion out of it because they're wrong so often that nobody trusts them. Right? And then yesterday you had Jake Tapper saying, we're not blaming anybody. And then on the crawl in the bottom, it said Trump refuses to take responsibilities for actually inspiring this guy. That's the problem. That's the problem. Right? So when Trump calls them out and says fake news, because he never says certain reporters are enemies of the people. He says fake news is the enemy of the people. Everybody goes, oh my God, he wants reporters to die. More hyperbolic statements that make no sense and they're rooted in lies. You have to be better, Benjamin. Thank you. He just called me fake news. All right, so let's move on to headline here. Okay, look, this is from Kirsten Powers, right? Kirsten Powers, who's on CNN. She's a contributor to CNN. This is from her Twitter feed. Dear white people who are upset that you can't dress up as another race or culture Halloween, your feelings don't matter. The only feelings that matter are those who feel disrespected, mocked by you appropriating their culture for entertainment. Right? So, see, that's part of the problem. You have a reporter saying that white people just need to shut up. White people need to shut up. Their feelings don't matter. Only the people who feel offended matter. It's insane. That's insane, and it plays into the vitriol that's out there. People hating each other. And they hate each other because of statements like this. This is supposed to be a news person. Right? Let's move on to another thing. Oh, this is pretty good here. Let's listen to this. Come on. You know what? Part of the reason my show started late is because a lot of these links, it's like they know I'm going to use them and they just stop working. But this is President Trump saying he agrees 100% with Barack Hussein Obama, right? He agrees 100% with him. And people go, well, what does he mean? And it's because Barack, my clip doesn't want to work, but Barack said, we need to defend our borders. People should not be coming in illegally because it disrespects the Americans. It disrespects our law system. It also disrespects those who have to stand in line for years, who legally come in. Trump agrees with him. And that was when Obama was running for president. He said that, right? So does it matter what Obama says? Oh, wait a minute. Was Obama lying then? Was he the liar in chief? Anyway, let's move on to the next thing. Okay, here's a good one. GOP leaders. This is from thehill.com. GOP leaders, acts of pure terror have no place in politics. And all of the GOP leaders came out and said that. This has no place in politics. And you know, I don't know if it was yesterday, but Joe Ugly, he has a little show here in the morning, you know, where he gets to spew his hate. Was talking about these pipe bombs and how Democrats are being targeted. And I had to point out to him, and I guess, let me see if I got the stuff here. But just last week, Susan Collins got an envelope of ricin, right? A toxin that was meant to kill her, right? Republican Susan Collins, who gave that speech on Kavanaugh. But nobody cares about that, right? So We only care. We only care if a Democrat is being threatened. That's what it seems. Trying to find the story here. Right, so anyway, so Susan Collins last week, a couple of weeks ago, it was Ted Cruz who got ricin, an envelope of ricin in the mail. Donald Trump was targeted. The Pentagon and his generals were targeted. Do any of you remember what CNN did with these stories of the current president of the United States' life being threatened? Or how about Donald Trump Jr.'s, his son, who received a letter in the mail and his wife opened it up and the powder flew in her face. She was hospitalized for a few days. How about that? You don't hear any of that. You know why? Because CNN doesn't care about Republicans, right? MSNBC doesn't care. And if they have to point that out to you, you have to realize that they are uncivil. And I'm almost betting that this is not going to be a Republican who's sending these bombs. It's somebody who wanted to change the tone or change the momentum, and they wanted us to have sympathy for the Democrats. You see this, it just is too obvious, right? I bet they already know who the person is. Right? So anyway, quick break. Quick break. And I'll be right back. You're listening to Breaking News.
If you feel that comfortable, you ain't gotta go nowhere. 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 Where? You ain't gotta go nowhere. 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 If you feel that comfortable. Our space is set up to say nothing. That's why you're here with me. These sheets create limitations. Strip down when you're next to me. You say that you want it, so show me you want it. I say that to say this to you. Let's do what we came here to do. If you feel that comfortable, you ain't gotta go nowhere. 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 Where? You ain't gotta go nowhere. You ain't gotta go nowhere. You ain't gotta go nowhere. You ain't gotta go nowhere.
All right, you're listening to Breaking News on WNHHLP 103.5 FM. All right. Pulled up the stories for you. New York Times, ricin suspected in mail sent to Trump and Pentagon officials. CNN Politics, Utah man charged for sending toxic letters to Trump and other admin officials. The Epoch Times, which is, I think, in Maine. Susan Collins, the latest Republican to receive suspicious ricin letter, and so on, right? So you didn't see the hoopla that's happening now, right? With these letters, and I think some of Ted Cruz's staff actually had to be hospitalized because they opened the letter. I mean, so if you're going to play this game of, oh my God, Trump is inspiring, well then, are you telling me that Maxine Waters inspired these ricin letters? Are you going to tell me Cory Booker inspired this? Eric Holder, Kickham, Hillary Clinton, we don't need to be civil. Right? So that's the point. I don't blame, Maxine Waters and anything for a nut in Utah deciding to do something crazy. Crazy people are crazy. Right? And we could all play this game. It's like when Obama came on and said the police acted stupidly. Well, from that point on, police officers started getting gunned down. Trayvon Martin could have been my son. He could have said that about, who was the guy? Zimmerman, George Zimmerman. He said that about George Zimmerman. Obama's half white. So George Zimmerman could have been his son. Right? So we could play this all day long, right? Did Obama inspire the now all these police officers who are constantly getting gunned down? Did Obama inspire that? By his words. Did Obama inspire all of this violence? And look, in Ferguson, when he said, we need to know who they are so we could kick their ass. That's Obama. Those are Obama's words. So was the violence in Chicago inspired by Obama? See, we could play this all day. We need to stop pointing the finger at each other and actually start being a little more civil. Right? We need to start being a little more civil, especially on the Democrat side. You can't just say everything Trump does is bad, everything he says is a lie. I could pull up a montage of all the times Obama lied, and it'll go for for hours. My favorite one is, if you want your doctor, you could keep your doctor, which Politico called the lie of the year. Right? So we could do this all day long. Who inspires who? How about the Bernie Sanders supporter who went and shot Representative Scalise? You remember that? That was just a few months ago. I think it was June, actually, of last year. Or was it this summer? Anyway, so that representative was shot on the softball field. He was practicing for a charity game, and he was shot by a Bernie Sanders supporter. That Bernie Sanders supporter had tweeted that he loved the Rachel Maddow show. So did Rachel Maddow inspire that guy to go shoot Steve Scalise? That's the problem. We need to stop being crazy and uncivil to one another. All right. I got things to do today. I gotta go. But it's been fun. You're listening to breaking news, absolutely breaking the news. Have a wonderful weekend. You've been listening with Harry, aka The Brave, on WNHH LP 103.5 FM. Your home for community radio. See ya!
Resolute of heart, make firm thy mind. The tongue of a man is the rudder of the boat, but the Lord of all is its pilot. Cast not thy heart after riches. There's no ignoring fate and destiny. Place not thy thoughts on things outside. Every man is destined for his hour.
I'm feeling goods where all of your cash went. Not chakra alignment or inward refinement. Trying to find one word to describe men. Pondering on these questions is where my time spent. Creative process, believe me, greatness got to achieve it. Ideas we believe in. Positive mind, gotta reach it. Putting effort to bring forth this new being. You're not consumed by the lust for things, but knows that his work is determined by words and deeds. Your mind is affected by words and deeds. Your thoughts are keys to what you're trying to see, and what you're trying to see should be to reach your goals. Hold on to your dreams, keys open doors. Since you can't always choose circumstances, make sure to choose your thoughts wisely. Choose advancement, move towards the future. Now's your chance, kid. Accept responsibility, avoid resentment. Actions always take root from what you think about. Things ain't going your way, it ain't hard to figure out. Why? Why? Ask why. Ain't gotta tell you, it's right in front of your eyes. So in following these principles you'll find along the road, you're the only one responsible for your soul. It's no coincidence. Take control of your life, no coincidence. It's no coincidence. You take control
gold shells are highly prized. And this one is occupied by a sarcastic fringe.
They have used the power that they have gotten for all the wrong things. They want to keep themselves in power. They want to cater to the special interests. It is time for us as Democrats to be as tough as they are, to be as dedicated as they are, to be as committed as they are. Michelle always says, Michelle Obama, I love her, you know. She and my wife, like, really tight, which always scares me and Barack. But Michelle always says that, you know, when they go low, we go high. No. When they go low, we kick them.
And if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere.
We know where you live, too, bitch. We know where you live. Yeah. We know where you live, bitch.
That's my call to action here. Please don't just come here today and then go home. Go to the Hill today. Get up and please get up in the face of some Congress people.
If kids don't eat in peace, you don't eat in peace. If kids don't eat in peace, you don't eat in peace.
You cannot be civil with a political party that wants to destroy what you stand for, what you care about. That's why I believe if we are fortunate enough to win back the House and/or the Senate, that's when civility can start again.
I need you to go out and talk to your friends and talk to your neighbors. I want you to talk to them whether they're independent or whether they are Republican. I want you to argue with them and get in their face.
We talk to these folks because they potentially have the best answers, so I know whose ass to kick.
With Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, when they're talking about bringing a gun to a knife fight, when they're inciting violence against police officers, today we have police officers called out to fake calls so they can be ambushed and potentially assassinated. And we're talking about protesters, paid protesters, going to disrupt a Republican rally. If it wasn't Donald Trump, it would be any of the other candidates on this panel, and they know it.